Hi, it's Leigh White joining you live this afternoon. If you end up catching this on replay, that is fine. Just let me know in the comments below that you are coming in on the replay. I'm going to be sharing with you what we have coming up in store. Today we're talking about motivation myths because you may feel like you are really needing motivation. You may not understand why it can be hard to stick to things and to feel motivated. Hi Lauren, it is so great to have you here this afternoon. Talking about something that is probably very close to your heart because you do a lot of hard things and motivation is usually I believe it's quite elusive when we're trying to break through new things and take ourselves to new levels. So we're going to be talking about motivation, and I have an announcement to make which I'm really nervous about. You never feel like it's really ready, and I am going to be telling you about it a little bit later on. But first, I just want to share that the people that this information is for are those who are in this community on the page that I've created, and you are people who would be feeling like you are keen to be changing your life. You know that there's more for you, and you often know that you are feeling a little bit like you're putting other people in front of you, and that you have to take that sort of second priority, and you're noticing all of the effects of this where let's just say, it's not really our mood, but our way that we show up in the world can be under a lot of stress because the priorities are, we're low on the list, but we have a big heart and a lot of things we want to be doing in the world. And you are a person, if you follow this page, who is very heart-led, and you never want to be living that superficial life. You want life in full color, the whole shebang. And hi Sarah, thanks for joining us this afternoon. It's so good to have you here, and to everybody that's watching, it is such a privilege and an honor to be standing before you as a person who only wants to elevate you to your next best level. There is nothing standing in your way, and today we're talking about motivation, so I'm giving you the big motivation talk, but the essence of what I'm saying is that the reasons why motivation feels necessary is because you're a human. You have a bunch of different ways in your design that keep you staying in a almost self-protective mode, where during your wonderful long lives you've developed lots of ways to keep yourself out of trouble. There've probably been times when you were more of a troublemaker, but now you're more in the, I've got a lot of responsibility, I'm going to play it safe. So that will kind of clip your wings because you're identifying at a neurological level, at a personality level, as someone that can almost fit in a box. There's a way of defining who you are that isn't limitless. It is limited. It has limitations. So when I mention the word neurological and identity, I'm talking about the parts of your mind and how it works that you aren't as conscious of, because these are much more deeper level programming that happens in relation to your survival. And when a person is putting everybody else in front of them, which so many of us will do for reasons that we either came into this world with through your lineage, and that intergenerational stuff that you bring through, or from very early influences in your life, it will keep you playing in that way where to feel loved, you feel almost like you've got to earn it. And that other people that you're keeping safe, it is a way for, it's your way of like being in the world. And so when it comes to really breaking through to new levels, the boundaries that stand before you are very much kept in place by beliefs that are created. So beliefs are just really persistent thoughts. They're not true. We can get into the argument about what is truth and what's true for you, because you can have this debate at the supermarket or anywhere where you can meet people that have different influences to you. What's true for them is going to be 100% different to what's true for you. So your beliefs are founded on repetition. So when a person has, let's take a really good example of relationship trauma, where it can be parental is a great example because it's very common, or siblings, or teenage bullying, or the dreaded teen romance, that type of thing that hits you hard and hits you early and starts to form that identity of what is real and perceived as real, because with those setbacks we start to create beliefs about, well, that is how the world is going to be treating me. And this is where the work becomes really, really powerful. And in my practice, there are no people that see me once, because it doesn't work that way. There's no, I feel like going for a healing session. I mean, I suppose you could do that. You could come in for a relaxing session, but why don't you just go for a massage or something? But when people are serious about breaking out of cycles of knowing that they are being held back, that they are stuck, that they are wanting so much more, and that there's a better life for them, but they don't know how the hell to get there from here to there. That is where the work is. And what I teach so much around is how we've got to look at how we're showing up in the world. What are these beliefs? What's this identity? How did that happen? And it's true that at times we don't know all of the answers, and they are at more subtle levels, and that's where some of the intuitive work comes into this whole game, the game of creating our lives. And when we talk about motivation to take action in a new direction, this is where all of your beliefs about what's possible for you are going to come up. So they're going to be, let's say you want to, a couple of good examples are like if you want to no longer be single and you want to create a relationship, you want to be experiencing love and have a better relationship. So this one is riddled with issues because of how our relationship with ourselves plays such a big part. But people don't, the people aren't taught about it that way. They're taught that it's how you look, or it's how you act around others and that sort of thing. And if we had an hour, we can unpack this one, because with all of the women on this page, this will be a really great conversation. But that example of how you perceive what's possible for you and the type of partner and the type of relationship you think that you're worthy of, it's complex work, and it requires that really careful identification of limiting beliefs and what have I got to be doing, how do I do the work. So that's what these processes are that I take my clients through around how we've got to unpack this. What is going on in our life force energy? What are we attached to? And at all the other levels of how attachments form. We don't have long enough this afternoon to talk about it all, but a few of the people who are watching today are also in our subscriber community called Soultopia Evolve. And if you haven't heard of Soultopia Evolve, it opens a couple of times a year, and we go on a deep journey into understanding who you really are and what you're made of, and how you can be stepping forward in a different way and having a much more intuitive, skilled-led life. So when we talk about the things that we want that we don't already have, the role of our beliefs plays so much of a huge part in the motivation. Where you cannot motivate yourself to break through. So let's say a person, you had a job and you wanted to become the CEO. Like, why not? Hey, Leigh says I'm infinite, so I want to be the CEO. So as the co-creator of your reality, why not? Okay? Well, straight away you're going to start telling me all of the reasons why that position isn't possible for you in a way that you can understand how that's going to happen. And so redesigning your identity and unpacking those beliefs around that and unpacking the values and that spiritual aspect of you that is driving you to want that particular goal. This is where so much of the work is, and it's very difficult work to do without a lot of, I'm just sort of picturing all of these legs going down and this scaffolding and structure to really take you through the process, because it's extremely confronting doing this work. And I don't really care who you are. There's going to be stuff like skeletons in the closet, that saying is so great and relevant, that will become apparent. And it's really important to do this kind of work in a sacred community, a safe space, whatever resonates with you. And the way that we approach this through the processes and the work that I do with my clients is have a really clear outcome that we want to be working together on. And it really comes down to this concept of, motivation is great. Like if you think about going to the gym, okay, or any really, vigorous exercise, please drop into the comments an emoji that describes for you how you feel about really vigorous exercise. Or maybe you can just do 1 if I love it, 2 not so much, 3 it's not for me. I want to know how many of you absolutely love vigorous exercise. In the spiritual community, a lot of people really poo-poo doing any, hardcore exercise. And I would love to know what you think. Lauren's giving us the big love it. She is a devotee. She's an inspiration to me. I did my 50 sessions, over a period of time. I just keep showing up. I had to use numbers to motivate myself. Well, it's one of the reasons. And I would love to hear what you all think. Sarah's a 1, and yes, I'm with you. And I think Lauren's probably the same, in that, there's that really almost nurturing social aspect of it, where you feel like all of, your needs are met, and it's so much more fun, definitely. This thing around committing to things that feel quite uncomfortable when you're doing them is... Often we would do stuff like putting out our clothing the night before, or try to trick ourselves into doing it. But honestly, it's not sustainable. Change is not sustainable until a decision is made. And these types of decisions are not, yes, I'm going to the gym. I mean, that is helpful, but it's bigger than that. It's the massive change that you want. So yes, I'm going to do what it takes, and you probably have to define what it's going to take at some level, or create a way where your conviction is so great to whatever this change is that you want, whether it is working on relationships and partners, or if it is physical fitness and well-being and strength goals and that type of thing, which, as a person who has been in the spiritual community for a very long time and done a lot of hard work, you do get encouraged to self-soothe and relax a lot more and that type of thing, and take a step away from it. But I really believe that it's extremely grounding to be doing very vigorous exercise and really loving your body that carries you around. Your life force energy needs that vessel, absolutely. So that thing around motivation for the gym is never going to work until the decision is made. So a long time ago when I was running a lot, it would be I'm signing up for the 14K race or the 10K race, or once it was a 21K race. That was fun. And, you know, that was how I had a deadline that wasn't going to move, and I had to do the work or it was going to be absolute hell and just a bit pointless. And those kind of things where you change the identity and, you know, they send you the t-shirt in the mail and you start training in that and like all of those things, or maybe that's after, but you know, you change your identity. So when a person's looking at, I don't know, giving up smoking or something like that, it's a massive deal. It's not a small thing, and motivation is only going to last for the short term until you're ready to do that neurological work of reprogramming what's going on around the beliefs and what feels like truth for you. And so that is the work that we do in the processes that I use with my clients, because there's a great saying, which is that spiritual dedication is the gravitas for this thing called motivation. Really, it comes down to consistent application or dedication. So it's kind of where this new identity and the actions around it become a way of being. So it's not that you're going to continue running for that period of a race or something like that. It becomes a way of being where it's just part of the routine. And that dedication is where the identity becomes automatic in how the brain functions. But getting from nothing to that is very hard, especially when it's hard work and when it requires casting off of old identities that were the reason why this hasn't happened before in your life. They can often be very tied up with beliefs about yourself. It's such complex work, but you can't outthink your mind. You can't outthink the excuses and things that will come up when you want to change things. And it's this aspect of the human nature that brings up so much resistance to changing things. And I hate resistance. I'm allowed to hate resistance because it's a real block for progress. And we experience resistance. I mean, comment below what you get resistance about. It can be taking the garbage out. Oh my God, like there's just no end. And it can be, you know, for the people here watching that are personal brands with businesses, it can be showing up on social media. It can be making a statement to the world about what you're bringing to them. It can be any of these things that we feel resistance about as we go to all of the different new identities that are necessary. As, you know, a person is never the expert on day one. It takes time. You've got to be ready to be that person with aspirations and go along the journey and stuff up and get it better and keep getting better every day and keep getting better and better and better. And knowing that letting go of beliefs about how to define ourselves along the way is a really important part of letting go of this resistance. It's key. So around dedication, what I want to share with you is, you know, this thing around how clients will generally work with me more than once is a theme where they know that they get results. So they get some results and then they might go away for whatever reason, tied up with other things, or they've broken through that level. And then they come back like years later and it'll be the same problem. I guarantee it. Because this deeper layer always requires the timing. There's a timing factor, because some work I recently did on me this year, I mean, it's not like the work is ever done. I mean, I've been doing the work for years and it never came up until now. And I've never stepped forward the way I want to Well, I don't think so. I mean, everything else in previous years felt really scary at the time, but it must be some new level. So that stuff that had to be shed was horrible, and you got to do it. And the work it's not forever. It's a bit like doing the reps at the gym. And this thing around dedication is what I want to introduce a whole new group of people to, in a way that is easy and fun, in a bit of a playground, in a community we're creating. So I would love to announce to you that in the next few weeks, we are commencing a 3-day challenge where we're going to be breaking through those beliefs that hold back what is currently getting in your way. So this closed community is going to be, it's actually created, and I'll be putting a link into the comments below where you can join the community. The actual work will be in the weeks ahead, but I want you to get into the community now so that we can do some of the pre-work, and I can get everybody ready for the fun part where we're actually doing the work. And nothing really replaces being able to connect through these different videos and have these conversations. Beliefs are with you. They're going to stay with you until you're ready to break those babies down. And this belief breakthrough challenge that we're doing together is going to be 3 days in a row. It's going to be a little bit of time each day. It's not like it's 3 days in a row. And I'm really excited to be creating this container where you can be doing the self reflection, be noticing and experiencing what these processes are like, and be getting a sense of what might be getting in your way and what work is needed around that, and experiencing that greater awareness, because awareness is the first step. You will not ever get from A to B until you know where you're going and what your the road ahead looks like. So I just want to thank you all for being here with me today and hearing all of the news about the myths of motivation. You cannot outthink your brain. You cannot override the blocks to motivation. There is work that needs to be done around it, and that new identity brought in. I just want to thank everybody that showed up here today to be watching and joining me live. It means the world to be able to serve you in this way and to be sharing insight and this particular perspective that I have as the person that works with people over and over and over, or many, many people on their journey, and just seeing what is getting in your way. I appreciate you, and I really honor all of you on your journey, because I get to see the beginning version of you and then the new version of you. I get to see the whole thing, and it brings me so much joy. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you in the Belief Breakthrough Challenge. So thanks again for being here today, and I'll be posting the links in below. So watch out for that, and catch you here next week. Bye for now.